Hello students, I'm Dr. Himanshu Kanpal, Assistant Professor English, Government MS College for Women, Bikaner. Today we are going to start with the poem The Lotus Eaters, which is prescribed in your English Literature syllabus, BA Part 2nd, Paper 1st. This poem, The Lotus Eaters, is written by one of the famous Victorian poets, Alfred Lord Tennyson. First, we are going to learn about the poet. Alfred Lord Tennyson, 1809 to 1892, was the poet laureate of Great Britain and Ireland during Queen Victoria's reign. We are talking about the Victorian age. That was from 1832 to 1901, and 1832 to 1870 it is called as early Victorian age, and 1872 to 1901 it is called as late Victorian age. As I have earlier told you, Alfred Lord Tennyson is one of the renowned and one of the famous poets of Victorian age. He received his university education from Cambridge. He is considered to be a representative Victorian poet, as his poems reflect the different intellectual currents prevalent at that time, because the Victorian age was marked throughout by the prominence of the spirit of inquiry and criticism and religious uncertainty, and by spiritual struggle and unrest, and these all things is reflected in the works of Alfred Lord Tennyson. His poetry is remarkable for its musical and pictorial qualities. Here I would like to tell you about Tennyson, that he is influenced by the writers of the previous age or the romantic age before him, as it is seen from the richness of his imagery and descriptive writing. For in his poems he had made use of wide range of subject matter. So his poetry is remarkable for its musical and pictorial qualities. Even in his earliest poems, we can note his extraordinary eye for beauty. Like a true artist, he creates pictures with his use of words. He is noted for his perfection of style. The style that he adopted in his works or in his poems, it seems to be perfect. Mastery of language and his command of meter. He continuously experimented with the meter and handled the English meters with great skill. It means like the meter that which is already prevalent. He adopted different forms, and he made certain changes in them with great skill and used them in his poems. Tennyson was also an expert in vividly portraying the external aspects of persons and works of art. His scientific knowledge, it means he has a scientific mind, he is scientifically advanced, and his keen observation lent to his enriched descriptions of nature. We can say he is deeply influenced by nature. He has a very keen eye on the descriptions of nature, and that thing, the beauty of nature, he has always employed in his works. He is renowned, famous for the long elegy that he wrote on the death of Sir Arthur Hallam in memory, which is named as In Memoriam, written about 1850, and for the revival of the stories of King Arthur and his Nights in the Idylls of the King, that was written about 1859. His other well-known works are Enoch Arden, The Princess, Maud, Ulysses, and Tithonus. He has employed, we can say that he has employed many themes in his poetry, because when we have a look at the poems of Tennyson's, nature plays important part in his poetry. But we can say that grief permeates Tennyson's poetry, but his poetry has clearness of conception and noble simplicity of expression. Now we move on to the interpreting the poem, The Lotus Eaters. The Lotus Eaters was first published in Tennyson's collection of poems. This poem belongs to Tennyson's early phase of his career. The theme of the poem is based on Homer's Odyssey, Book 9th, where after the Troy had been seized or taken hold of forcibly, Odysseus or Ulysses and his companions land in Africa on the island of Lotafagoi, or the land of lotus eaters. Here I would like to tell you about the story of the lotus eaters, from where Tennyson has taken the story and adopted in the poem The Lotus Eaters, which was written about 1832. Lotus eaters, for which the Greek plural loto phagoi. In Greek mythology, one of a tribe encountered by the Greek hero Odysseus during his return from Troy after a north wind had driven him and his man from Cape Malea, which is the reference to this story is taken from Homer's Odyssey, Book 9th. The Greek hero, he is hero Odysseus or Ulysses, returns from expedition when he was driven by the north wind, and he lands on the place of lotus eaters, the local inhabitants whose distinctive practice is indicated by their name. They invited Odysseus and the sailors scouts to eat of the mysterious plant. When they arrived at the land, the local inhabitants of the place, they invited Odysseus and the sailors to eat the mysterious plant. Those who did so were overcome by a blissful forgetfulness. They had to be dragged back to the ship because now they are not in a state to move. They have become lethargic. They've become inactive and chained to the rowing benches, or they would never have returned to their duties. So, the 5th century BC historian Herodotus located the lotus eaters on the Libyan coast, and Alfred Lord Tennyson brought the story to the modern world in his poem The Lotus Eaters, which was written about 1832. So, we are going to continue from the 5th line. The inhabitants of the island gave them the fruit of lotus, after the consumption of which Odysseus and his companions feel lethargic. Lethargic means dull, and concomitantly became inactive. It means at the same time they became inactive. They forget their homes and wish to remain where they are. In this poem, the Tennyson is talking about that when Odysseus or the Ulysses is returning from his expedition with his with the sailors, they came to a land of lotus eaters, and in that when they landed at the seashore, they met the people, they met the inhabitants of the place, and they gave them the fruit of lotus, by which they became dull and inactive. So the sailors forget their homes, their duties, and they wish to remain where they are. The spirit of lethargy in this poem is striking in contrast with the spirit of travel and adventure of the companion poem Ulysses. The poem is loaded with pre-Raphaelite references. Here I would like to tell you something about pre-Raphaelite references. Pre-Raphaelite was a movement which is related to Victorian age. The pre-Raphaelite movement began with the establishment in 1848 of the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood by the writers like Dante Gabriel Rossetti, Holman Hunt, John Everett Millais, and others as a protest against the prevailing conventional methods of painting. So, the Pre-Raphaelites wished to regain the spirit of simple devotion and adhere to nature, which is found in Italian religious art before Raphael. Ruskin asserted that Pre-Raphaelites had but one principle, that of absolute, uncompromising truth in all that it did. Truth attained by elaborating everything down to the most minute detail from nature and from nature only. So, the characteristics of Pre-Raphaelites were the use of pictorial elements, symbolism, sensuousness, a tendency to metrical experimentation, and attention to minute detail, and an interest in the supernatural and medieval. So, we can say that Tennyson was influenced by the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood, and he has made use of the characteristics of, we can notice the Pre-Raphaelite characteristics in his poetry. He has made ample use of Pre-Raphaelite references in the poem and in many of his works. So, the first section, now we move on to the next paragraph. The first section of the poem consists of 5 Spenserian stanzas. The poem opens with the scenic description of the landscape. Afternoon, the languid means unhurried streams, the waterfalls, and the snow-covered mountains and the valleys. As I've already told you that he has a very keen observation, he has a very keen eye on nature, and thus he makes ample use of natural beauty to express the feelings. It also describes the sunset and the monotonous, melancholic atmosphere. Melancholic means sad atmosphere of the land of the lotus eaters. The dreaminess of the landscape is in close harmony with the dreamy mood of the sailors as they consume the lotus fruit. What it means, the description of the land of the lotus eaters seems like all the natural things, they are too also languid. It seems the atmosphere is inactive. Everything here seems to be dull. The dreaminess of the landscape is in close harmony with the dreamy mood of the sailors as they consume the lotus fruit. So they too became one with the dreamy atmosphere of the land. Now, when they were returning back to their land from their expedition, they have come to the place of lotus eaters, have that fruit, and now they felt that what they felt here, that they are going to live here forever. The section Choric Song consists of stanzas of different lengths and explicates various mood of Odysseus and his companions. Explicates means depicts various mood of Odysseus and his companions. We can when we are going to read the poem, we can see that they are going to have the conversations with each other. In that dreamy state, the sailors sing together, giving a series of argument in favor of a life of inaction. After having that fruit, after having that plant of lotus, now they feel that they give arguments in favor of this inactive life. They feel that now they are tired from their expedition, and now they are going to live here forever. They express reluctance. Now they are unwilling to travel. They are unwilling to take any kind of journey. They also express a feeling of surrender to the surrounding languor, a feeling of forgetfulness of their responsibilities. They want to they are in a mood of they are in the mood of inactiveness. So now their forgetfulness of their responsibilities. They do not want to go back and take their responsibilities, or they do not want to go back to their homeland. And we can feel an intense desire to adopt an indifference to everything in a godly manner. So the poem expresses the mood of human mind, and we can say it shows the conflict between the sense of responsibility and desire to take pleasures. This is all about the interpretation of the poem. Thank you.